almost hit a power line. Do you guys like drone shots as much as I do, but find that it is getting tougher and tougher to fly drones kind of anywhere? That's what we're gonna talk about today. For like a bunch of reasons, flying drones is getting harder. I would say the main one though is all the rules and regulations behind drones. I don't know if you guys remember back in the day, like think back to like the Casey Neistat days where he would fly it around New York City. That's about when I got my first drone, and there was kind of no rules about drones and where you could fly them. So of course some idiots flew them in places that they weren't supposed to fly them, and now none of us can really fly them anywhere. The rules are getting tougher and tougher. But there is a solution to still being able to get kind of a super wide, wow, that's very loud. To still being able to get a super wide, really cool establishing shot that I would say is drone-esque. As in, I'm not gonna get those like super, 150 foot offshore, getting really cool views of a city or a place that I'm about to film a video at, but I could still get really cool video with just this camera. I've seen a bunch of people doing it. I've actually never really gone out and tried to create much of it. So today's gonna be my first attempt at this. We're gonna see how this works out. But instead of just filming with the Insta360 ONE X2 and using the normal selfie stick, which is this guy, this is the normal selfie stick. And this thing, it gets like fairly long, but look, you can see it in this shot. Wait, hang on, a little wider. Yeah, it gets this long. Instead of using that, I'm gonna use a significantly longer selfie stick. All right, normally this is the selfie stick I use is the invisible selfie stick from Insta360, and fully extended. It's a good length, but it's yay high. Today we're using something a little longer. I'm gonna use this guy. This is from Insta360, but it's a partnership, it looks like, with Surui. I can never say it right, but check out how long this thing is. I don't know if I'm back far enough for you to see it. Look at this thing. It's taller than the van. I don't actually know how long this selfie stick is, but I know that the van is 9'6", and this is slightly taller than the van. So the idea is that while I'm riding along, I can hold this thing like straight up in the air and really get like a super high shot that might trick someone, and they might be like, I think that was a drone shot that he got. Let's see if it works. Look how small the Insta360 ONE X2 looks compared to this giant handle. Like, this thing it's quite beefy. In theory, it's gonna help us get some fake drone shots. So let's cut to fake drone shots now. Back into the studio now, and I've reviewed this footage, and I would say there's two big takeaways that I learned from trying to film fake drone shots with the ONE X2, and a few little tips that I learned along the way. The first big takeaway was it was more challenging than I thought, and the second big takeaway was it was more effective than I thought. To the first point, why was it more challenging than I thought? It's because on a drone, if I get my drone in a certain spot and I say, hey, I want to fly in a straight line for 300 yards, that's fairly simple. I just say go forward and it flies in a perfectly straight line 300 yards. But if I'm on the ground skateboarding, holding a pole straight up in the air, and I want to go in a straight line for 300 yards, it's more difficult. Sometimes there's obstacles. Sometimes there's people on the sidewalk that I just kind of went around like this, thinking in my dumb head that was gonna look good, but now realizing that makes it look like the drone was flying along and the drone did this, which that's not a good shot. So my first little tip for you guys and for myself is to create a fake drone shot with the ONE X2. You really have to think of it like it's a drone up in the air flying in a straight line, and you have to maintain that straight line. So if you do this at all with the camera, it's not gonna be a good shot. It's gonna look weird. So side to side, up and down, you really need to focus on going in a perfectly straight line, and then it looks really good. Because when I did that, to the second point, yeah, it looks like a drone. Because like I said, this was my very first time trying to get drone shots with the ONE X2, and I would say some of them came out shockingly good. I did not think that they were gonna look that much like a drone shot. And there's a reason why I think it looks like a drone shot or doesn't look like a drone shot, which brings me to my next tip, which is that you want something on the ground to show the height of the camera. For instance, in the shot that I think was the best, or that I think looked most like a drone shot, as I was going through the Carlsbad intersection, it looks like the camera is going over, the cars are below, the people are really small below, the camera's way up by the sign, and you can relatively see distance. You can relatively see height. It's a really wide angle lens, plus it's really high. And when you have something there on the ground, you can tell how high it is. In shots where there wasn't something on the ground, I don't think you could tell that it was high, or it didn't feel like it was super high. It felt like it was wide, but not super high. But as soon as a car went underneath me or something like that, all of a sudden you went, oh, this looks like a drone, like it's way up there in the sky. And all that really came together in that last shot. That last shot, Carlsbad has one of those like all cross intersections where all the traffic stops. So I waited way back behind those cars. And as soon as I saw that the red lights hit and people started walking, I just was like, I'm gonna go the perfectly straight line right through the intersection. Luckily, no one got in my way, because if they would have, and I would have gone and stopped for a second and then gone, that would have messed the shot up too. So really, you have to think like a drone, like imagine it as a drone. I thought because it's a 360 camera, I could kind of cheat it and just kind of like, I don't know, it's up there, I can reframe in post, but even in post, this has to move like a drone to get shots like a drone. Does that make sense? So to all of you that are out there that have been doing this a ton and are like, David, why don't you ever use the ONE X2 as a fake drone in your videos? I will now. I will totally do that, because this comes with me everywhere anyways, and this comes with, hang on, this camera comes with this stick in my bag at all times. Like, no matter where I'm going, this is with me. Did you see the video on my Instagram where me and Eleanor were riding behind a wakeboard boat, wake surfing, and I was holding this thing out, and me and her are, it's because this camera is with me everywhere. So I already have this camera with me, and instead of bringing a drone and the controller and a bunch of extra batteries, I now could just bring this and still get really cool, really wide establishing shots of a place with just the addition of this. I wanna hear what you guys think down in the comments though. What did you think of the drone shots I was able to get today? Again, this was my first shot, so don't judge me too harshly, but the few that like really worked out, do you think that looks like a drone shot? To me, it looks a lot like a drone shot. I wouldn't say like 100%, but I would say if I saw like a quick 2 seconds of it in the video, I think I would probably be fooled. Let me know what you guys think though, and also let me know in the comments if you already have a ONE X2. If you do, have you tried this? And if you have, dude, send me a link. Like, put a link to a video that you've put drone or fake drone shots in using the ONE X2. I wanna see what you guys have done. Because again, like I said, I'm new at using this as a fake drone, and I want to do it more. And I would appreciate your help with that. Hey, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for watching to the end. The people that watch to the end, you guys are the real heroes of this channel, and I appreciate you. I want you to know that. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Lots of videos coming. There's like 9, 10 videos. There's a ton of videos coming the rest of this month, and especially September. September is gonna be wild. Oh, that was stupid. Damn it.